Tang Sanzang and his disciples reached White Tiger Ridge, where the Lady White Bone attempted to harm Sanzang by transforming into human forms 3 times to deceive them. Each time, Wukong saw through her tricks with his fiery eyes and golden pupils and struck her down. However, Sanzang, unable to distinguish demons from humans, accused Wukong of killing innocents. Enraged, Sanzang wrote a dismissal letter and expelled Wukong back to Mount Huaguo. After bidding farewell to Jinyuanzi, Sanzang and his disciples continued westward. Soon, they saw a towering mountain ahead. Sanzang said, "Disciples, the road looks steep. Be cautious, the horse might struggle." Wukong replied, "Don't worry, Master. We'll handle it." Wukong led the way, clearing the path with his golden cudgel. The cliffs were rugged, with prowling tigers, leopards, and swarming wolves. Sanzang, riding his horse, was terrified by the sights. Wukong swung his cudgel and roared, scattering the wolves and driving off the tigers, allowing the group to climb safely. Midway up, Sanzang said, "Wukong, I'm hungry. Go find some food." Wukong replied, "Master, that's wishful thinking. In this remote mountain, where would I find food?" Unhappy, Sanzang scolded, "Lazy monkey! You never put in effort." Wukong grinned. "Don't be upset, Master. I'll look for a place to beg for food." With that, Wukong leapt into the clouds and scanned the area. To the south, he saw a mountain with a patch of bright red on its sunny side. Excited, Wukong descended and said, "Master, there's a patch of red on that southern mountain, likely ripe peaches. I'll fetch some for you." Sanzang smiled. "Peaches would be more than enough for a monk." Wukong told Bajie and Sandy to guard Sanzang carefully, then took the alms bowl and flew off to gather peaches. Meanwhile, a demon in the clouds spotted Sanzang on the ground and exclaimed, "Fortune has come! They say the monk from the east is the reincarnation of Jing Chanzi, a body perfected through 10 lifetimes. Eating his flesh brings immortality, and today he's here." The demon wanted to strike but saw Bajie and Sandy guarding Sanzang closely. Hesitating, she hatched a plan and thought, "Let's play a trick on them first and see how they react." The demon stopped the dark wind and transformed into a beautiful woman, with delicate features, red lips, and white teeth. She carried a green porcelain bottle in one hand and a blue earthen jar in the other, walking directly toward Sanzang. Seeing her, Sanzang quickly called out, "Look! Didn't Wukong say this wilderness was deserted? Isn't someone coming this way?" Bajie replied, "Master, sit tight with Sandy. Let me check it out." Bajie set down his rake, straightened himself up, and put on a gentlemanly demeanor as he approached. Seeing how attractive she was, he couldn't help but start flirting. Patting his belly, Bajie asked what she was carrying.
"Monk, the jar contains fragrant rice, and the bottle has fried gluten. I came here to fulfill a vow by offering food to monks."
Overjoyed, Bajie ran back to Sanzang, exclaiming, "Master, that woman came to offer food to monks." Sanzang doubted him, saying, "We've walked so far without meeting anyone. How could there suddenly be someone offering alms?" As they spoke, the woman arrived. Sanzang, unable to see through her disguise, stood up, folded his hands in respect, and said, "Kind lady, where's your home, and what brings you here to offer food?"
"Master, this mountain is called White Tiger Ridge, and my home is to the west. My parents are devout and often host monks from far and near."
Sanzang asked, "If your parents are at home, why are you walking here alone?"
"My husband is farming in the northern valley, and this is his lunch. Seeing you 3 travelers reminded me of my parents' kindness toward monks, so I decided to offer this food to you instead."
Sanzang said, "What a kind gesture. But if we eat this meal, won't your husband be upset?"
Master, you don't understand. My husband is even more generous. He would be delighted to know this food was offered to you.
Despite her words, Sanzang refused to eat. Frustrated, Bajie muttered, "Master, you're too indecisive. Why wait for Wukong when there's food right here?" He grabbed the jar and prepared to feast. Just then, Wukong returned from the southern mountain with peaches in the alms bowl. Using his fiery eyes with golden pupils, he immediately saw through the woman's disguise. It was an evil spirit. Without a word, Wukong set down the bowl, raised his cudgel, and aimed a strike at the woman. Sanzang pulled him back, shouting, "You wild monkey! Why are you acting up again?" Wukong replied, "Master, this woman is a demon trying to deceive you." Shocked and angry, Sanzang said, "This kind woman came to offer us food, and you call her a demon?" Wukong retorted, "Master, you can't see her true form. If I had come a moment later, you'd be in grave danger." With that, he swung his cudgel at the demon's face. The demon was cunning and used a corpse-shedding technique, leaving a false corpse behind for Wukong to strike down. Terrified, Sanzang shouted, "Rebellious monkey! Why kill without cause?" Wukong replied, "Master, don't blame me. Look inside the jar." With Sandy's help, Sanzang stepped forward and saw no food but writhing snakes, frogs, and toads spilling out. Sanzang began to believe Wukong, but Bajie, disgruntled, muttered, "Master, that monkey just hit hard, scared you'd recite the band-tightening spell, and is now pulling a trick to fool you." Hearing this, Sanzang believed it and immediately recited the spell. Wukong fell to the ground, writhing in pain, begging for mercy. Sanzang scolded, "Monks should cherish all life, even ants and moths. You're so violent, how can we continue this journey? Go back!" Stunned, Wukong asked, "Master, where should I go?" Sanzang replied, "Anywhere you want. You're no longer my disciple." Wukong knelt and pleaded, "Master, even if you don't want me, I haven't repaid your great kindness yet." Sanzang replied, "What kindness have I shown you?" Wukong recalled, "Back when I caused havoc in heaven, I suffered greatly but was saved by Bodhisattva Guanyin, who gave me a second chance. You freed me, Master. If I don't complete this journey with you, people will condemn me for being ungrateful for all eternity." Sanzang, moved by Wukong's plea, relented and said, "All right, I'll forgive you this time. But if you act out again, I'll recite the spell backward 20 times. Wukong grinned and said, "Even 30 times is fine by me, Master." He helped Sanzang onto his horse and offered him the peaches he had picked. Sanzang ate a few to stave off his hunger. Meanwhile, the demon, having escaped into the clouds, gnashed her teeth and said,
Sun Wukong truly lives up to his reputation. But if I let Tang Sanzang go now, all my efforts will be wasted. I'll try another trick.
Descending on a dark cloud, the demon transformed into an old woman, appearing over 80, leaning on a crooked bamboo cane and hobbling along while weeping. From a distance, Bajie cried out, "Master! Trouble! That old woman's here looking for someone." Sanzang was confused, while Bajie guessed, "Brother Monkey must have killed her daughter earlier." Wukong snapped, "Stop spouting nonsense, fool! I'll go check it out." Striding over, Wukong immediately recognized the demon in disguise. Without a word, he swung his cudgel at her head. The demon shed her true form again, leaving another fake corpse on the mountain road. Seeing this, Sanzang fell off his horse in shock and, without hesitation, recited the band-tightening spell backward 20 times. Poor Wukong's head was squeezed like a gourd, causing unbearable pain. Sanzang scolded, I've tried to teach you compassion, yet you kill without reason. How do you explain this? Wukong insisted he had slain a demon, but Sanzang refused to listen. You're incapable of goodness and intent on evil. Leave at once. Wukong replied, If you're sending me away, so be it. But something doesn't add up. Sanzang asked, What's that? Bajie interjected. Master, he wants to split the luggage with you. Furious, Wukong shouted, You sharp-tongued fool! When did I ever ask to split anything? Embarrassed, Bajie turned bright red and lowered his head, too ashamed to respond. Wukong said seriously, If you truly don't want me, Master, please recite the loosening spell to remove this band. Only then will I feel free. Sanzang was momentarily speechless before replying. The Bodhisattva only taught me the band tightening spell, not any band loosening spell. Wukong knelt and pleaded. If there's no band loosening spell, Master, please let me accompany you to the west. Sanzang reluctantly said. Fine, get up. I'll forgive you this time, but no more violence. Wukong promised to behave, helped Sanzang onto the horse, and the group continued their journey. Meanwhile, the demon, having narrowly escaped Wukong's strike, fumed in the air.
That Sun Wukong is formidable. If these monks pass this mountain and travel 40 miles west, they'll be out of my territory. If another demon captures them, all my efforts will be wasted. I'll play one last trick on them. Descending with a dark wind, the demon transformed into an old man, white-haired and dignified, wearing a crane cloak. He carried a dragon-headed cane in one hand and a string of prayer beads in the other, chanting sutras. Seeing the figure, Sanzang felt comforted and said, Amit Ba, that old man is devoted to Buddha. The West truly is blessed. Bajie was unimpressed and muttered, Master, that's nothing but trouble. Sanzang asked, Why do you call him trouble? Bajie whispered, The monkey killed his daughter and wife. He's here for revenge. If we walk into his trap, the monkey will escape, leaving the three of us to suffer. Wukong overheard but ignored Bajie. He thought to himself, This must be the demon trying to trick Master again. I won't let it get away this time. Hiding his cudgel, he approached the figure and called out, Old man, where are you headed? The demon mistook Wukong for an ordinary person and replied, Monk, I've lived here my whole life, devoted to hosting monks and reading sutras. This morning, my daughter went to bring food to the fields but hasn't returned. My wife went searching and hasn't come back either, so I'm here looking for them. Wukong sneered. You demon! Trying to trick me? You might fool others, but not me. The demon was struck speechless in fear. Wukong raised his cudgel to strike, but the demon whipped up a black wind and flew into the sky. Wukong shouted, You're not getting away! And leapt after it in a flash of golden light. Wukong chanted a spell to summon the local earth deity and mountain spirit, ordering them to block the demon's escape. The gods obeyed, assisting from the clouds. Wukong swung his cudgel, striking the demon on the head and cutting off its lifeline. At that moment, Sanzang, Bajie, and Sandy arrived just in time to see Wukong strike the old man down. Sanzang turned pale and trembled, speechless. Bajie exclaimed, The monkey's gone mad, 3 people dead in just half a day. Sanzang was about to recite the spell when Wukong rushed to him and said, Master, don't. Come see what it really is. It was a pile of pale bones with the words Lady White Bone written along the spine. Sanzang, shocked, asked, Wukong, how could a person turn into bones so quickly? Wukong replied, It's a lurking spirit, a zombie preying on travelers. Once I killed it, its true form was revealed. Sanzang began to believe him, but Bajie chimed in.
Master, he's just afraid of your spell, so he's creating illusions to trick you. Sanzang, swayed by Bajie's words, recited the tightening spell again. Unable to endure the pain, Wukong fell to his knees, pleading. Stop! Stop! Master, you've wronged me. Sanzang said. You've killed 3 people, how have I wronged you? Wukong argued. It was clearly a demon trying to harm you. I saved you, yet you trust that fool's lies instead. Sanzang ignored him and said, You've caused one disaster after another with that deadly staff. How can I keep forgiving you? Leave now. Wukong felt a chill in his heart and said, Fine. As the saying goes, 3 strikes and you're out. If I stay, I'll be shameless. It's a pity the journey to the west is so dangerous, and you'll have no one to protect you now. Sanzang, growing angrier, retorted. You insolent monkey! Are you the only one who counts as a person? Is Bajie or Sandy not one? Hearing this, Wukong couldn't help but lament sorrowfully. What misery! Since I became your disciple, I've endured countless hardships. Now, you abandon me without reason. This truly is a case of outliving one's usefulness. Tang Sanzang dismounted and instructed Sandy to fetch paper and ink from their belongings. Using water from the stream and a rock to grind the ink, he wrote a dismissal letter. Handing the letter to Wukong, Sanzang said, Take this as proof. I will no longer have you as a disciple. If we meet again, I'd rather descend into the deepest hell. Wukong, holding back tears, accepted the letter, folded it, and tucked it into his sleeve. He said, Master, don't be angry. I regret leaving the journey unfinished. Please sit and let me bow to you one last time before I leave. Sanzang turned away and said, I won't accept a salute from a scoundrel like you. Wukong used his magic, plucking 3 hairs from his head, blowing on them, and shouting, Transform! 3 identical Wukongs appeared, making 4 in total, surrounding Sanzang and bowing. Unable to avoid them, Sanzang reluctantly accepted the bow. Wukong stood up, retrieved his hairs, and told Sandy, You're a good man. Be careful on the journey. If demons come, tell them that I, Wukong, am Master Tang's senior disciple. They won't dare harm him. Sanzang coldly responded, I'm a virtuous monk and won't mention your wicked name. Seeing Sanzang's hardened heart, Wukong, though reluctant, bid farewell to his master and brothers with tears and leapt onto his cloud, heading back to the water curtain cave on Mount Huaguo. Wukong soared across mountains and seas, soon arriving over the Eastern Ocean. Seeing the rolling waves and roaring winds, he sighed. It's been 500 years since I last traveled this way. Though banished by Sanzang, Wukong still missed him. Gazing at the ocean, memories flooded his mind, and tears fell from his cheeks. He paused in midair for a long time before continuing. Wukong leapt over the Eastern Ocean and soon reached Mount Huaguo. Descending his cloud, he surveyed the scene. The once lush mountain was now barren, its peaks crumbled, and trees charred. As Wukong lamented the desolation, he heard noises from a nearby valley. 7 or 8 little monkeys rushed out, surrounding him and shouting, Great Sage is home! Wukong asked, Why are you all hiding instead of playing freely? The monkeys burst into tears and said, Since you were captured and taken to the heavens, we've suffered greatly. They began recounting their hardships. After Wukong's rebellion in heaven and subsequent imprisonment under 5 Elements Mountain by Buddha, Mount Huaguo was burned by Erlang Shen and the 7 brothers of Meishan. Most of the 47,000 demons were slaughtered. Some monkeys survived by hiding in wells, creeks, or under the iron bridge. When the fires died down, they emerged to find Mount Huaguo in ruins and desolation. The surviving monkeys dared not show themselves and hid deep in caves, venturing out only to eat grass or drink from streams, living a miserable existence. In recent years, hunters began raiding Mount Huaguo, capturing monkeys to either eat or use for entertainment, making life even more unbearable. Hearing this, Wukong felt heartbroken and asked, "Who is in charge here now?" The monkeys replied, "Marshal Ma, Marshal Lu, and Generals Ben and Ba oversee things." Wukong sent a little demon to notify them. Soon, Ma, Lu, Ben, and Ba rushed out to bow and welcome him into the cave. Wukong sat in the center as the demons paid their respects. Marshal Ma and Marshal Lu asked, "We heard you were freed and escorting Tang Sanzang on his journey. Why have you returned?" Wukong sighed deeply and recounted the tale of defeating Lady Whitebone and being banished by Tang Sanzang. The monkey said, "Why be a monk, great sage? Stay here and lead us to enjoy a few carefree years." They brought out coconut wine to celebrate his return. Wukong waved them off, saying, "Hold the drinks. Tell me, how often do these hunters come?" Ma and Lu replied, "They come anytime, often daily." Just then, a little demon rushed in to report, "The hunters are on the mountain now." Wukong, unhurried, called out, "Perfect timing!" He instructed the monkeys to gather charred stones from the mountain into piles, some with 20 or 30 rocks, others with 50 or 60. The monkeys leaped and scrambled, piling up the stones. Satisfied, Wukong nodded and said, "Now, hide in the cave and watch me work my magic." Climbing to the mountain peak, Wukong saw 1,000 hunters below, with drums pounding, gongs clanging, armed with bows, arrows, swords, and spears, accompanied by eagles and hounds. Each looked fierce and battle-ready. Angered, Wukong waited until the hunters entered his trap. He chanted a spell, took a deep breath, and blew out a fierce gust of wind. The sky darkened as dust and debris filled the air. Trees toppled, and the stones flew like missiles, shattering heads and wounding beasts. Blood soaked the ground, leaving the hunters dead across the mountainside. Wukong laughed. "When I killed a few demons for Tang Sanzang, he accused me of being ruthless. Who knew I'd return home to end so many lives?" He then ordered the monkeys to clean up the battlefield. The monkeys collected the hunters' weapons for training and repurposed their colorful banners into a new flag inscribed with, "Restorer of the Mount Huaguo, recreator of the Water Curtain Cave, Great Sage Wukong." They hung it outside the cave, rallying demons and storing supplies. Wukong invited the Dragon Kings of the Four Seas to bring heavenly rain, washing the mountain clean. He planted elms and willows in the front, pines and cedars in the back, along with peaches, plums, and dates. Mount Huaguo flourished once more, and the Monkey King led his followers in peaceful, carefree days.